Is the recording and transcription showing up on your side?
It is, and it looks great. You are good to go.
All right, let's get started. Good day, committee members and other parties of interest. This is the evaluation committee for RPS 24-24835, Miscellaneous Professional Construction Engineering and Inspection Services. This meeting is being held by means of communication media technology. Active participation will be for committee members only. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. The online internet and live stream will also be available via recording after the meeting has ended. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect. All meetings and correspondence must include me. My name is Jacinta J.C. Pinkney, and I am the senior buyer for this project. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with the committee chair, James Hudak.
Good morning, Jim Hudak, Director of the Capital Programs Department.
Good morning, guys. I'm Rob Swain, Public Works, Capital Programs.
Larry Webster, Public Works, Stormwater.
Amy Jarman, Capital Programs.
Okay, the evaluation committee chair, James Hudak, will lead the discussion for the scoring. After each category is discussed, they will state the final consensus scoring agreed upon so that I may record it in the scoring spreadsheet. After the conclusion of the scoring, I will verify the scores with the committee and provide the final presentation ranking. Excuse me. Okay, Jim, I will turn it over to you.
Appreciate it, JC.
Welcome.
Just wanted to say good morning and take an opportunity to just thank you all for doing this and being a part of this committee. I know this is a little bit outside of your typical day-to-day duties. And yeah, this is a big investment of your time, but I think it's worth it. We think you're very valuable members. Really looking forward to talking through this and getting your opinions on this. So just want to say right from the get-go, appreciate the time and effort that you guys put into getting this. I myself, really do appreciate that. So I think the goal that we'd like to get to today is to get to the short list. We'll score everything, obviously get it down to the top 6 of the short list. And then we'll talk about next steps at the end, where we'll go from there based on how things go. I think, JC, what I would like to do, just as far as thinking through it a little bit,
Okay.
is I think I'll start with the first vendor, discuss kind of my draft score, and then we'll talk about just see if we can get to a consensus on that first one. But then I think it would be good to rotate. So maybe you can do the next one, start with that to a consensus, and then we'll just take turns kind of starting with each vendor that way. Okay. I don't necessarily on each one. I think that might be a little bit more fair. So with that, let's go ahead and just start at the top of the list and work our way down, starting with AECOM. And I'll go ahead and kick off the discussion with AECOM. So I thought overall, AECOM's proposal was pretty strong. I think their PM is strong. Sandra has considerable experience. It's pretty clear. I thought they brought a pretty good sub team to the table also with Keystone and Tesla, Hyatt. Project administrators I thought were fairly good. The field inspection staff, I think when you're looking at the senior inspectors and the field inspectors, I thought they were fairly strong. So with regards to the first criteria, ability of the firm and its professional personnel, that one starts off at 35 points. So I've got AECOM at about 32 on that one. We can discuss that, comment on that. Again, one other comment I'd make is I know if you look through the proposals, AECOM is very strong on resurfacing. We're going to have a lot of resurfacing inspection needs over the next couple of years. So I think the fact that they've got a strong field inspection resurfacing background is advantageous also. So again, throw out a 32 and see what you guys think.
I have a 34. I agree with your statement. I think their experienced team that they presented was really suits our needs.
Give him a 32. thought the project team consisted of all the necessary disciplines, primary firm and superior understanding of the proposed project. They also, primary firm had superior professional resources to properly providing services that we were looking for. The presentation was really done well. So,
Okay, awesome. So here's Rob with 34. Okay, and 32. Got it. Amy.
I gave them a 33. I thought they were well organized, had a good team. They had all the necessary disciplines. They had a superior organization, good understanding. They worked with Hillsborough County before, and the PM had good experience, good qualifications for the team. So I gave them a 33.
Okay. So a couple 32s, 33, 34. So looks like right around 33 might be what we're at for that first category. So plug that in at 33.
Larry?
Okay, and then moving on to second criteria, firm experience in projects of similar type and size. Again, I think notes here. One of the things that I think AECom again was one area they were strong in. They did have miscellaneous contracts with good experience with miscellaneous contracts as opposed to some standalone contracts. With their proposal included several other municipalities. It was pretty clear that they're familiar with these types of contracts that we're putting out and have experience in doing these types of contracts. So I had them at a 28 on this criteria of 30.
I have them at a 29. And I also think, just reviewing their contracts, I thought maybe, that they do have a lot of experience with, the same type of, contracts that we typically have and, for the purpose. They were servicing, railroad crossing signals, all those are our bread and butter contract. So I gave them a 29.
I also gave them a 29. Thought that the client firm's approach, methods proposed are superior to provide the level of service required for the projects that we would expect them to have. All the scope of services provided represents the representative of projects similar to the RPS scope. So I really thought that the projects they selected it's well represented of the work that we do.
I had given them a 30, but I agree with 29 or 28, still in the superior category. I saw that they had good prime firm experience, projects with similar size and type. The approach and methods to provide the service required, I thought were superior. And representative projects related to the RPS scope, I thought were superior. They had 4 CEI contracts, Hillsborough County experience. So I thought very good.
Okay. So I think consensus there is about a 29.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Larry?
Great.
Agreed.
All right, moving on to the firm's willingness and ability to meet the schedule and the budget requirements. Again, this criteria is a little bit fluid for this being, a miscellaneous contract as opposed to a standalone. So I thought a lot of the firms were fairly consistent in terms of what they provided. In their defense, there wasn't a lot to provide for this criteria, just with it being a miscellaneous contract. Again, I thought in this case, AECOM's section C here was fairly well done, made sense, hit some of the key things we were looking for on this one. So I've got them at 18 out of 20 on this category.
I have AECOM at a 19 in this category. I think they have a good approach to monitoring the progress Also, they have, we recognize county holidays, and things like that in a way to cover, those areas for us. So I gave them a 19.
I gave him an 18. Submittal showed superior understanding of the approach and scope and schedule and budget for the potential improvements for the projects, delivering cost savings.
I'd actually given them a little bit lower, 17, but I still thought that they did a good job. They had a good schedule approach with showing the schedule slippages being tracked and reported. The only thing is they didn't suggest improvements. That's why I was on the lower side of that. On the budget control, they indicated they monitor progress each pay item. They forecast items that appear to be over established budget, but I didn't see improvements indicated there, but 18, 19, I think is fair too.
Yeah, I think they, looks like consensus about 18.
18, everybody agree for 18?
Yes.
Agreed.
Great. Okay, then moving on to criteria 4, affect the firm's recent current projected workload, 15-point category. Again, I think AECOM's, I like the information that they provided in the proposal. There's a little bit of concern, it does show Sandra's, it's a little bit of an availability issue, but again, from a project management standpoint, I think it's probably more important that the field staff is max available. So I think for these contracts, we tend to use the field staff, and the PMs don't necessarily need to be 100% available in most cases. It's good if they are, but it's not the end of the world if they're not. So overall, I had them. The rest of the availability looked pretty strong in terms of the key personnel that they presented. So I had them at a 13 out of 15 on this one.
I also had them at a 13. I focused a lot on the fact that their inspectors, the availability of their inspectors for our upcoming year. It seemed that they could meet our needs for the upcoming year, fiscal year so I gave them a 13.
Give him a 14. The submittal showed that the consultants project team had adequate staffing available to generally complete the work that we're expecting to do.
I given them 14, but I also had concerns with Sandra showing 30% availability. They did show that they had a 15 with a lot of backups, about 5 to 14, but I think within the range of 13 to 15 is good.
So you can call it 13?
13 sounds
Great.
13 is a consensus?
Agreed.
Yes, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that's AECOM. Move on to the second one. Adkins. And then Rob, why don't we let you go ahead and start off with yours on Adkins.
Yeah, Atkins, for ability of the firm and its professional personnel, I gave them a 26.
All right, Jen, what was your score?
On,
Oh, you haven't given it yet.
no, we're starting with.
Yeah, I've given them started with the 26. So I just their professional team that seems they have good experience, but I would like to have seen more of the professionals for the type of experience that we need. So I give them 26.
Gave them a 27. Project team personnel have exceptional level of experience. Several are uniquely qualified. The project team consisted of all necessary disciplines.
I've actually given them a higher category. I thought that I gave them a 33 and actually, for the project team, I thought they were above average experience. Ken was uniquely qualified. I had Kellogg, he had 11 years experience. Some of the Moffat, I might not be really private road, but he did have CEI experience. Then the thought they had all the necessary disciplines, all the team members that could be covered. If they had superior organization, the prior team appeared to be qualified and well organized, and I thought they had a superior understanding. And look at that.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have them a little lower at the 25 to 26 myself. So again, the PM, 11 years, I think was probably one of the lower experience levels of all the proposals. Again, it's a good experience, but relative to all of the other teams, that was a little on the low side. Again, I don't know that that's, necessarily indicative of, his performance, but it's just something that I noted on it. The other thing was I was really looking for some D7 Hillsborough County experience across the team. Again, there's in the PM team, didn't look like there was a lot of experience in the local area per se. With, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like it's mostly out of the local area, out of Hillsborough area particularly. I know they listed Joy, who, have like a ton of experience, but I think when you get to the availability, again, that was a sub with Keystone, but I don't think I'm not sure what her role would be in this in theory. I think Kyle would mainly be the PM in this one, so it appears from the assignments. So the little bit of a concern there. The field staff, I thought, again, lots of years of experience. Looked like it hit a lot of the disciplines. Again, I didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not seeing a ton of municipal experience on this team. From what I'm seeing, looked like a lot of, mainly FDOT type stuff. Yeah, there's exceptions to that here and there, but obviously things work a little different on the municipal level than the DOT level, but overall, I had them at a 0.6, and so what do we want to throw out as consensus on that?
26 is good.
26.
Okay, fine.
26.
All right, so I on the firm's experience with project and similar type, I scored them a 25. This firm has experience with, FDOT, lighting, and some lighting projects. Their projects are not really, their staff, I'm sure, many qualified, obviously be more for projects that are more similar to what we do on a daily basis. So, and I didn't see really that. So I gave them a score of 25 because I do believe that there's really good experience in construction, especially doing FDOT projects.
I gave them a 22. Prime firm's approach and the methods proposed are superior to provide the level of service required for the projects that we would expect for them to be working on. All of the scope of services provided for the representative projects are similar to the RPS code.
Actually give them a little lower on this one at 20, just because I thought the representative projects related to the RPS scope were minor. Some of the project completion dates weren't listed, not that it mattered, but it's supposed to be a 5-year completion. Some were limited type of scope, like Moffett, the half a mile improvement. So, and also on the time, firm approach and methods to provide services required, I thought that was adequate. They did have some CEI experience during this project. Again, it was a private road, some signal and pedestrian improvements.
I'm sorry, you knew that.
I gave much money.
So for this one, I had them at a 24. Yeah, for a lot of the reasons you guys stated. I had them a little bit lower on some of the projects that they put forward in terms of size and scope. So what was the,
I had it 25.
22.
I can bring it up. I do see value in what they presented. Your team is a good team.
it's okay. So, but we just, well, remind me of the score.
25.
22.
20, no, it's 24. So that puts us about at 23 or 24.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, I said 23.
23.
23?
Yeah.
Everybody agreed to 20?
Agreed.
Agreed.
And then partially,
So, the next category, firm willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements. You know, I don't really see, I thought they did, fairly decent with that. And also, there are a couple of things that I just thought that, well, one major thing in negotiating proposals and things like that that are important to us, communication with the project manager is important. They put a lot of emphasis on communication with the contractor. So I think that a little bit of that was kind of, as you know, the whole entire, capturing the whole entire process. So I gave them 17.
Okay. I gave them a 16. I thought the submittal showed a good understanding of the approach to scope, schedule, budget. Project budget, schedule can be met.
I had given them an 18. I thought they had a good schedule approach. The team highlighted contractors if they were going to have lack of progress. They were going to look at project sequencing, used Primavera scheduling software. And then understanding the budget control, I thought they were superior and they had some proposed improvements. Used Oracle to track time, labor, and materials charged to the contract. Team analyzed requested contractor change orders and verify quantities.
okay. Yeah, I actually thought this section was done fairly well. I actually had them at an 18 also on this one. I thought their approach to quality control and time management and cost management was fairly well. So I had them at 18 on this one. So what was
17.
I was 16.
Amy?
18.
18. So 17?
17.
18, 17.
17.
Yeah.
All right, the last category, the firm's recent, current, and projected workload. I felt like they had, just straightforward, this, the personnel that we would need, to have the availability. So I give them a 14.
I also gave them a 14. I thought the middle showed that they had adequate staffing available to complete the services we would expect.
I'd actually given them a 15. I thought they had 268 Tampa employees. They had adequate team availability, which will show they did. So that's why 15.
Yeah, had a little lower on this one. I'm trying to remember. So I'm looking at that 203. So I think it was the availability in 2025 diminishes a little bit if I'm looking at that right. So looked like 24, but then it slowly got down to 50% or less the next year, right? So I know it's a little confusing trying to go back and forth between the summary and this. So this chart here kind of looks like they're to 60, 70%, but I think this is the part of the piece I was confused a little bit here. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They're talking about 45% availability for all team members through the next 12 months. 65. So I don't know what this is trying to tell me. You know what I mean? So I think you guys are mainly looking at this one back here, which looked a lot stronger.
Yes.
So
It goes down to 10%.
yeah, I don't know. It's almost like an aggregate of everything, but it doesn't seem like that chart drives with this here.
Yeah, that chart has
Maybe I'm just
individuals.
misunderstanding this chart here, but our current workload and like. Well, as a current commitment over the next 1 year period offers 60% availability of key personnel and 45% for all team members throughout the next 12 months. Yeah, again, if you go by the second page, it looks like more of the team members. Again, their field staff didn't seem as available, as some of the other firms. Some of the other firms had 100%, 90% on some of the key senior inspectors and some other ones. So there may be a workload issue that we run into here if they're only projecting out 60% or so. That just kind of tells me that they may have some issues with staffing potentially. Don't know. That's just kind of what I saw. So I actually had them at about an 11 on that one, just out of those concerns. So what do we end up with?
I believe I stored them at they said 14. Yeah, 14.
14.
Came up 14.
15.
Okay, so it's just, what do you guys think? Again,
I think we can bring down low with that concern,
Well,
looking at the chart.
I mean, I actually, made note of that, the 268 40s that they have here.
yes.
But if they don't have availability,
But they don't have the ability, yes. Yeah.
all the charts indicate that those get reduced, so.
So why don't we call it 13? They're consistent overall on it.
Okay.
Agreed.
13.
Okay.
RNP. Table 31. Of the project team personnel have exceptional level of experience and several qualified organization from the team, which was superior. My firm had superior professional resources to complete the projects that we were assigned.
The Sun Weekly qualified, their headquarters in Orlando. They had 700 employees overall. And they have a Tampa office. They did appear they had a lot of sub-consultants that might not be used, they were filling in. They did appear they had all of the disciplines, aerial innovations, or et cetera. They had a above average understanding of firm understands the project and was required to complete it. I thought they had a QA plan. Compliance with specs was important. They indicated they would control the budget, take material sampling.
I think we're just talking about the first criteria.
Just the first.
Yeah, that may be stretch into some of the other ones.
Oh, that's part of that
Okay.
qualification review.
Okay, good. And relative to their qualification. Okay.
And then project manager qualification, I thought Brian was good. He had 17 years of experience, had bridge experience, Hillsborough County experience. So I gave him a 26.
Yeah, I thought, just a general comment, in terms of presentation, I thought the proposal was done really, really well. Whoever did the presentation, did a great job on it. Overall qualifications, of staff, I think, again, I agree with a lot of the comments. I think the PM experience was strong. PA experience was strong, and the field inspection staff was strong. Good sub team also. So I think overall looked like they had pretty strong ability and professional experience in this one. So I had them at a 31.
So, I did always sit there, I actually have them at a 34. I thought they get above average, with all the understanding. You know, also I had a good approach to staff. So I gave them 34.
Okay, I'll start bringing some.
So it's anyone.
I'm sorry, I had a lower 26.
Your comments seem to reflect a higher score.
It
That's
does.
so
It is good. That, you're right, there were some benefit, they had some unique qualifications, they did have some unique, they could use a drones, the Trimble sight vision, I don't know if that's something that they use, but they did have some added value there. So I agree, it could be higher, yes.
So, yeah,
34.
31.
26,
that's 31. So where's that
I
land?
think 31.
31,
31.
31-ish.
31 there.
31, great. All right, so for the firm's experience with projects of similar size and type, give them 19. Project firm had more than adequate, successful, recent, within the past 5 years, experience with projects of similar size and type. Projects firm's approach and methods proposed are above average to provide the level of service.
This one, I did give them a lower value on that. 22. What you had,
Hold on, one minute. Robbie got it.
Gotta move around.
Yeah, move around.
Just gotta move around a little bit.
I thought their experience was more than adequate. Their prime firm approach was, I felt like it could have some improvements. They had limited description of what their approaches or methods were. They did say they had CEI experience with Hillsborough County. And were requiring compliance with the specifications, which is good. They did have 4 CEI projects listed, FDOT, Hillsborough County project listed, but the project manager focus wasn't really explained a lot, I thought, in the description of that, so that's why it's lower. For me, so 22.
Yeah, I thought the projects they presented in this section were a nice mix of both municipal miscellaneous contracts for different municipalities, and then they've also got the large DOT. So I think they've got a range to be able to handle some of the small stuff, the small municipal stuff, and the small work order contracts, and even the larger type stuff. So I actually had them, this is category 2, right? Yeah, I had them at 28 on this one.
At 28.
Yeah, okay. So, but that's not consensus, sorry.
So I actually, I saw that they had, you know, experience with large, you know, got projects, lab, also have lab experience, some signal projects. But I was looking more for, in that other team as experienced and can probably perform that, but as far as, you know, the category, I would like to see more, resurfacing and sidewalk type projects. So I scored them a 25.
Sure, we end up
So I had
I
25.
think 25 is probably the place
I
to.
19, but thank you.
Yeah, next year.
I was just concerned about the project manager, but
Yeah. Right. So what do we think? So,
I thought 25 was the
Okay.
point there, and I can agree with that. That is firm experience with projects of, yeah, that's a higher.
Yeah, come up.
you're okay.
Yeah, okay.
I will call that 25.
25.
Okay. Excellent.
Firm's willingness and ability to meet the schedule and budget requirements. Middle showed good understanding of an approach to the scope, schedule, and budget. Budget, and schedule can be met. Uh, 17.
I given them an 18. I thought they had a good schedule approach. They talked about using Primavera. And then for the budget control, I said they had superior. They had some improvements indicated. They reported deviations and cost, monthly payment review request reviews, forecasting underruns and overruns. So I gave them an 18.
Yeah, I thought this one was fairly good for them also. The description that they wrote, just talking about Brian using a burn chart, just to kind of project out some of the CEI costs projected, expected versus actual would be helpful. And we get that a lot of times from firms we get now. So I thought budget control and overall schedule management was fairly good on this one. So I had them at 18 also.
Yeah, just going along with, what you guys said, I agree with that. So I gave them 17.
What were those?
17.
70.
So that call 17.
17.
Back to the firm's recent, current, projected workload. Gave them a 14. Spindle showed that consultants and project teams had adequate staffing available to complete the projects.
I had given them a 12. Felt that they had adequate, the fire load may impact their schedule. Brian Brown had a 40% availability, but he was completing the FDOT project. Shealy had 0% availability, so I just had some concerns about some of the availability on there.
Okay. Yeah. Something. I think they had some issues early on, in 24, but I think it appeared that they got more available as time went on. Again, I think based on the timing of when these things will actually come on, these contracts will come online, I don't know that that concerned me a whole lot. So yeah, I had them, this was a 15 point, I had them 13 on this one.
I had 12.
So 12, 13,
I have them at a 14, so.
And then 14,
so 13.
Agreed.
Oh,
13.
13.
All right. Moving on.
So you're in Johnson, Merriman, and Thompson. So the first category, ability of firm and its professional personnel, I've given them a 24. I thought they had adequate experience for all the team members. And they had a small firm though, only 9 engineers, 7 designers, 3 inspectors, 1 construction engineer, 8 transportation. We did have some locations in Tampa, some other locations in Florida. I thought they had all necessary disciplines such as arena, variety of keystone. I thought they supplemented within there. Organization of team and resources, I thought they were adequate. They did have 95 staff members in Florida, over 2,300 nationwide. They had a above average understanding, about 80% for each client is what they stated. They did state they had similar experience to the project types. I thought the project manager qualification was above average. Stephen has 18 years of experience, a former DOT engineer, has CEI experience. They have Hillsborough County experience. So that's why I gave them score.
What was the scoring?
24.
Yeah, I think a lot of the comments you made were very similar to mine. I think Stephen's qualified. Again, just looking at local, municipality / county experience, good experience, but a lot of it was, St. Lucie, some other areas in there outside the county. So, or even outside the local areas. So I had GMT, I had them actually at a 28 on that one.
So I thought that they had, the PM qualifications were good. The experience for our needs. They had some personnel with management experience. I felt this real big for our needs, so I gave them a 28.
I said 21. I thought they were a little overly reliant on subs.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
Again, just due to the size of the.
They didn't have a lot of backup people.
So what was the?
So 21.
I had 21.
So we had 24, 20.
So
25.
25.
Okay.
Very good.
25? Okay. For number 2? I'm sorry, for number 1. Got it.
James, take first. All right, number 2.
Number 2, for the firm experience with projects of similar type and size, I had actually a lower number for that. Because they were so Port St. Lucie, I had given them a 19. I thought they had more than adequate type of experience, but it just wasn't local, not local experience there. And then above average for the approach to those projects. And then related to the RPS scope, I didn't see that it directly related to what we're doing. They did have Port St. Lucie continuing contracts and a water quality project, but I thought it just really wasn't exactly related to what we were looking at. I thought it was adequate.
Yeah, I thought overall similar to the comments you made. Good mix of municipal. I did see some municipal experience. Again, some of the projects were a little different. There's a typo on one of the projects. I'll let that go though. On the title for Project 5, misspelled reconstruction, but whatever. Yeah, so I had them at a 25.
So I thought that they had projects that were, very similar to our type of work. I thought they sort of met that category, their experience. team, I thought was adequate for us, so I gave them a 28.
On category 3 or 2.
Category 2.
Okay, got it.
I gave them a 21. But the prime firm had a superior past a recent successful experience with projects of similar size. Scope of services generally provided the representative of the projects similar to our projects.
So where's that?
Right. Low 19, 21, 25, and 28. It's the range. 25 might be the low point.
I'm sorry, Larry, what was yours?
I had a 21.
20.
So what score do you have?
I had 28,
28.
21,
25 and
25.
19. I had the lower side just because of the side.
So does that feel like about 24?
Yeah, that's a
24.
24.
Agreed.
Agree.
Okay, for firms' willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements. On this one, I thought they had adequate schedule approach and adequate budget control approach. So I gave them a 15. For the schedule, they identified task, scope, and budget. They write the task work order. They sign the right personnel. They discuss managing the contract schedule, and for budget, they talked about progress report spreadsheet, using staging, budget control system, using appropriate staff, and monitoring staff hours.
Yeah, I felt like this section from J&T was adequate. They talked about some of their invoicing systems and accounting systems, how they would handle some of the task work orders. So I had them at a 17 on this one.
So I like their 3-stage approach. Proposals, they seem to capture the whole, the whole process, invoicing and also utilize the master schedule to keep up with them. So I give them 18.
One moment. Oh, maybe.
Yes.
This one doesn't work. Okay, you put that down there. Here to go out, go stop the recording, maybe. Thank you so much. Sorry about that.
Ready to go?
I have an 18.
18.
With 3.
Okay, so I had also had an 18. But the submittal showed superior understanding, scope and approach, schedule, budget, potential improvements for the project delivery and cost savings.
I could agree. It's probably the only thing I had a concern about is it didn't really express about the contractor. So much was more focusing on their internal control of the project, but I agree with your point.
What's a consensus on that?
18.
I had an 18.
I would agree.
18.
Agreed.
Number 3.
The last one, effective firms' recent, current, and projected workload. So on that one, I thought they had adequate staff. The PM, Stephen, is about 65% available. They did have just a small local staff. But overall, they had, I think it was 95 professional staff members in Florida offices and over 2,300 nationwide, so they can provide backup.
Sorry, what was the score?
I had given them a 12 on this.
Yeah, similar. A couple concerns with a couple of their staff that they're showing on their chart for availability over the next 12 months. Looked like they were a little tied up. But I think, overall was I think it was similar to some other firms that we had on there, but looking at their senior inspectors, some of the other folks that they had. So I had them at 12.
So I thought that they had a, heavy workload, but it seems like in 25, as time goes on, that they would have more availability, and more focused on their senior CDIs. So I thought overall they could meet our needs, so I gave them a 13.
I gave them a 14. I thought the little showed that they had or showed that the consultants team has adequate staffing available to our projects.
So we're so 12,
We had 2 12s, a 13 and a 14.
12, 13, 14, so 13. 13.
Thirteen.
Agreed, 13.
Number 5. I think what we'll do after we get to the halfway point, we get done with KCI, we'll take a break. That's it's doable. All right, moving on to KCI category 1. So in this, sorry, bro. So again, I think KCI brought both in project management and inspection. I thought they've got a lot of experience in terms of overall years and disciplines, both local and FDOT experience. Both Randy and Mike developers, a lot of considerable experience there on the project management side. And then on the field inspection side, I thought pretty strong too. And some experience with miscellaneous contracts. So overall, I had them at a 31.
Yeah, 31. So I have, I thought that their professionals had like eons of experience. I mean, seriously. And also, I mean, these guys are average, their average experience is like 30, so it was really high, and I also thought that the inspection staff, senior guys, they just had more than adequate experience. So I just felt like they were overall they were superior. So I gave them a 34.
I gave them a 32. I thought the presentation was done really well. Project team consisted of all the necessary disciplines. Primary firm has a superior understanding of the proposed projects will give them, and that primary firm has superior professional resources to provide the services we're going to request.
They were superior. For all the reasons we've stated, their experience levels, their experience in Hillsborough County, projects they listed, the project manager. So I actually given them 35 overall.
So we're
So we
talking
had 35, 31, 34, and 32.
so 33.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm saying 33.
Something.
Oh, sorry.
33.
Read the number 1, Casey.
Okay, so number 2, second category, again, good experience, similar projects in terms of both municipal, local. Got Pinellas County CEI continuing services contract as an example. Again, I thought they demonstrated a fairly good list of experience or similar type projects. So I had them at had a 28.
So I thought that their, local project experience was superior. They, especially in this area, they have a lot of experience with similar projects of our type. They presented, servicing projects, large reconstruction, projects, railroad, and also signals, which I thought were key. So I actually gave them a 28.
I gave them a 20, but the prime firm has more than adequate, successful recent experience with projects of similar size and type. Projects firm approach methods proposed are above average, provide the services we require.
I'd actually given them a 29. I thought we were superior in the prime firm experience with projects of similar size and type. I thought they had the superior approach to the experience they listed. I thought they had superior representative projects related to the RPS scope. They had CEI for Hillsborough County projects. They had CEI projects listed. They were superior.
Score.
So we had 20, 2 28s and a 29.
Okay.
The lower scoring were
Oh, mine was 20, but I really agree with a lot of the points you guys were making. So I don't mind coming up to
28.
28.
28.
Yeah.
28.
Awesome.
28.
Okay, and then third criteria, criteria 3. So I thought this was pretty similar to some of the other proposals in terms of schedule, budget controls, walking through the different phases of plans and how they would monitor projects. Yeah, so again, I thought that was, I didn't see anything that jumped out versus others, but pretty similar. So I had them at a 17 on this one.
I thought that they had a good system for monitoring progress, good understanding of counties' schedules, estimating, understanding, the steps. I thought that they captured the full process. So, and also there was no pacing schedule. And so, but I have them at an 18.
Okay. I also give them an 18. This middle shows superior understanding and approach to the scope, the schedule, budget, potential improvements for project delivery and cost savings.
I give them a 17. I thought they had an adequate schedule approach. They did talk about using Primavera P6 for schedule control. They did have quality assurance reviews. But the thing I didn't see in there was talking about the project schedule control on that. And then on budget control, I thought it was adequate. They develop estimates. They do 15 years of county experience. They do progress monitoring. But it didn't describe again the contractor side of it. It's more the internal contract description. That's why I give them 17 versus 18.
Okay, 2 17s and 18.
2 18.
2 18s.
Yeah.
17 and a half.
Split hairs.
Yeah, 17 or 18, what feel?
I feel an 18.
Okay with anything.
Okay, with 18.
18? 18 for number 3.
Okay, and then category 4, for KCI, similar to others, that they had a little bit of, availability, not so much in the PM side, but more in the field side and the early finishing out 24, but looks like they open up, almost a full availability in the out years, or in 25 for the most part, especially when you get past first quarter, so. I had them, at a 13 on that one.
Yeah, I thought that they had a lot of availability, primarily looking at the field staff guys. For 2025, I thought they had the ability to, our workload. So I gave them actually a 14.
Gave them a 15. The spindle showed self-esteem, but they have more than adequate staffing to complete projects we're doing. What we would expect.
I gave them a 14, but they had immediate availability. Then we have a backup capability.
So,
We have a 13, 2 14s, and a 15.
I said 14.
14?
3.
so I think we're at the halfway point there. So
Good point.
it'll take
Okay.
a few minutes.
So we're gonna go ahead and take a 15-minute break. We will be back at about, let's say 10:30. Thank you. Okay, we are back and we're gonna evaluate the next 5 firms. Yeah, I will hand it over to you.
Okay. And, I think I did KCI, right?
Yep. Yep, so I guess I will start off with the, which is, Kissinger, KCA. So the first category we have is the ability of the firm and its professional. Personnel. So I feel that if they have, the more superior personnel, their professionals experience, they have lots of years of experience as well as their field staff. So I scored him a 32.
I gave him a 30, thought the project team personnel had exceptional level of experience. Several are uniquely qualified, applying from a superior understanding, those work that we're together, applying from superior professional resources to provide our services.
I give them a superior a 35. I thought they had exceptional experience. Some were uniquely qualified. A lot of CEI experience listed. They contained all the necessary disciplines. I thought they had superior team and resources available. They had a superior understanding of the project within the needs. And they had a unique project manager qualification. Current Hillsborough County experience.
Yeah, again, I think I agree with the comments. I think their project manager that they put forth for this has, got a lot of experience. Their senior inspectors, the different staff that they proposed has a high level of experience. I actually had them in the 31.
So 32.
So we had a 30, 31, 32, and 35. 32.
Sounds like 30.
33.
33.
Yes.
33 agreed.
So the second category, I have, the firm's experience with projects of similar type and size. I believe that they have experience, the projects that they've presented. Very similar to county projects and things that we're gonna have coming up, Colbert's, Bridge, also mentioned on the last project, so I gave them the 28.
Give them a 25, applying from a superior past and recent successful experience with projects set of similar size and type. All the scope of services provided representative projects we would expect.
I give them a 28. I thought they had superior prime firm experience with projects of similar size and type. I thought they had superior approach and methods to the projects they listed. And I thought they had superior representative projects related to the RPS scope.
Yep, and but good representative list of projects. Similar to what we do. I had it at 26.
28, and 25. So 27.
27, agree, 27. Larry, 27. So
27 agreed.
All right, so the third category of firms, willingness and ability to meet schedule, budget requirements. Here I kind of thought that, there's proposal. could use a little bit, from this County. They did show, you know, their ability to develop scopes, services, and basically maintain budgets, but I gave them a 16.
Gave them an 18. Thought the submittal showed superior understanding of this and approach of scope, budget, schedule, with potential improvements for the project delivery and cost savings.
I give them a 19. I thought they had a superior with improvements for the schedule approach. And for the understanding of budget control, I thought they showed it was superior with some suggested improvements. Sorry. 19.
I would agree with a lot of those comments. I had them at 17.
17, 18, 19.
17.
Okay.
So
Is everything that?
Agreed, 17.
Okay, so in this category 4, current and projected workload for the firm, I thought that they showed availability, couple areas, but mainly in the areas where we would need them. So I actually gave them a 14, supporting 14.
I gave them a 14. Thought this middle showed the consultant's project team is adequate staffing available for the service.
I had given them that a 12. They did have adequate staff. There were some that were on the lower side of that.
yeah, and I think I was more, I actually had them at 12 also. The availability was a concern. I think they had adequate staff, but again, I think with the existing contract workload they have, there's a little bit of concern, especially on the field side, in a lot of cases. If you look, their chart goes, availability goes pretty deep into 25 in some cases, spring. You know, a lot of 50%, 80s in different areas, deep into 25. So a little bit of a concern. PM side didn't look to be that much of an issue. I question 100% availability for the PM, you know, but that's okay. But yeah, like we talked about before, the PM I don't feel like needs to be like 100% available. Looking more at the field staff concern there. So I had them at 12.
2 12s and 2 14s.
13.
14.
Yeah.
13.
13 degree. Attic. 1. Gave them 21. Thought the project team contained all the necessary disciplines. Organization of the project team is adequate to the project. Prime firm has superior professional resources to provide services we're expecting.
I gave them an 18. I thought they had adequate experience for some of the team members for the qualifications and experience. I thought they contained all necessary disciplines. They were adequate for their resources that they had available. They had adequate understanding of the prime firm, of what was required to complete it, and they had a unique project manager qualification.
So for the first criteria, I had them at a 25. I think the PM has very strong experience in the local area, number of years in DOT and local municipalities. Field side experience was fairly good, but relative to others firms, I think, thought it was a little bit lower. So I had the 25 on that.
So I have them at a 24. I thought that they're professional, they were, had, 12 hours of experience, to meet all of our requirements. The senior guys, the senior inspectors, field guys. So I thought that probably not as adequate as I would like, so I scored a 24.
We had 18. I was, some of my concern was just they didn't have some of the testing that I saw, qualifications, but you just see it.
So 24, 25. What was yours?
Mine's 21, so.
So. What's that, about 22?
Yeah,
Somewhere there.
22, 23, one of those.
22.
22. The 22 for number one on the automatic.
Or two. Give him an 18. A prime firm had more than adequate successful recent experience with projects of similar size and type. Projects firm approach, methods, proposed above average and provide the level of service we would expect require.
I also gave them an 18. I thought they had successful prime firm experience with projects of similar size and type. They had minor representative projects related to the RPS stuff though. I thought they didn't have a lot of, the PM didn't have a lot of experience with other type projects. I also thought that the approach, it didn't have the individual team member experience indicated in there for the projects that they had listed, but I gave them an 18.
Okay, so category 2, yeah, I think the representative projects, especially on the field side, are very DOT heavy. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more municipal type experience on there. I had them at a 22 on them.
In category 2, I didn't see, they did have, that experience, but I didn't see a lot of, again, local experience, on some of the projects of our type. It seemed to be very heavy with, state, right? Even small stuff. So I actually gave them a score of 24.
We had 2 18s, a 22 and a 24.
Up to 2, 21.
21 or 22, what do you guys think?
Take the higher 22.
22.
Okay, 22 for number 2.
22, agree?
Agreed.
Four.
Category 3, threw me off there, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
It's just,
getting spacey here.
it's just
Maybe
testing,
those
just
off.
testing.
So, category 3, give him a 13. Spindle showed adequate, schedule approach, understanding of the budget, control, understanding of the scope. The project budget and schedule, can be met or modified to meet the project.
I'd given them a 12. I thought their schedule approach and budget control needed some improvement. It wasn't adequate. It wasn't clear. It did talk about forecasting next month's work, but it didn't accurately describe managing the contract with the contractor. And then in the budget control, thought the prioritizing of work, delegating of tasks. And it really wasn't clear to me what they were describing.
Yeah, I think, for me in the section 3, just looking at what, based on what was in the proposal relative to the other ones, I think they do talk about a lot of the similar things, you know, current burn rates and other things, but again, relative to some of the other proposals, it felt like there was a few things missing on this one. So I actually have a 15 on this one.
So I thought that they did mention, you know, tracking costs, tracking hours, things like that, planning, but it didn't capture the full process to me of, you know, developing any proposals and things like that. So I gave it a 16.
Well, 14, 15, 16.
So 14-ish.
14.
3.
Category 4, gave them 12. This bill showed the consultant's project team has adequate time available staff to complete the services schedule. On schedule.
I gave them an 11. I thought they had adequate, but prior workloads might impact their ability to complete it.
Yeah, this I had at 13. It looked like they had fairly good availability. For the most part, wasn't a lot of issues here. I had 13 on it.
Yeah, I also have a 13. I thought they were adequate. So availability.
I come up to 13.
Up to 13, that's fine.
So 13 for number 1.
Yep.
4, 3.
Okay. Our ability of firm and its professional personnel, I give them a 28. I thought they had above average experience with PM uniquely qualified. I thought they contained all the necessary disciplines. I thought they were above average understanding of the project, and they had a unique project manager qualification, 22 years of experience, serving on with Hillsborough County CEI projects.
I'm sorry, what was the score?
28.
Right, okay. Yeah, I thought they had good, adequate qualifications, personnel wise, starting with the PM and going through their field staff. Yeah, it's similar to a lot of comments you mentioned, so I had the 27.
So I think I have one a little bit higher. I did like their the experience of their professionals. Seems like they have a very good staff. Their field guys, senior inspector, they had desirable experience for me. So I actually scored them at a 32.
I mean, it's a more conservative wing of the party here. We gave it 23 of the project team personnel. And above average level experience project managers uniquely qualified project needs all the necessary disciplines. Can come up, so. What was it?
We have 23, 27, 28, 32.
20.
Yeah, 28 Well, 20, somewhere between 28 and 30, I think.
29?
Great.
The next one, firms experience with projects of similar type and size. I given them a 29. I thought they had superior prime firm experience with projects of similar size and type. I thought they had superior projects that related to the RPS scope, with addition to bridge experience on it.
Yeah, I agree. I had them at a 28 on this one. Similar. Some comments.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you guys. They have definitely, the experience, local experience, projects of similar size, bridge also. So I actually,
Gave him a 20, fine firm with more than adequate, successful experience, projects, similar size and type. Approach methods proposed or above average, provided level of service required for the projects. Yeah, I'm a little more conservative on the scoring on this one, but I have no problem coming up because I do agree with many of the comments you guys stated.
It's working in.
So we have 20, 2 28s and 29, so
28.
28. Agree.
Rob, what was your score?
28.
And Larry, yours was 12,
Yes.
and the consensus is 28.
Okay.
So the next category is the firm's willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements. On that, I had given an 18. I thought they had superior schedule approach. They had some improvements listed. And I thought they had a good understanding of budget control.
Yeah, mine was similar. I thought the proposal included good comments on both schedule and budget, monitoring, including a little bit of innovation and project management. So I had them at 18.
So I have them at a 19. They actually was a considered, communicating with in line with point of contact, I thought was pretty good. It keeps out a lot of confusion and, the budget monitoring I thought was really good, approach. So I scored them a 19.
I gave him a 15. I thought the submittal showed a good understanding of the approach of the scope, schedule, budget, project budget, and schedule. But I do agree, like I said, for many of the comments you guys are saying, so I'm fine coming up. What are the numbers again?
So we have 15, 18, 19, and 19.
He said 18. So,
Yeah.
18.
What, 18?
Correct.
For number 3? Okay.
Next category, effective firms, recent, current, and projected workload. I've given them a 12. They had adequate but prior workloads no impact. Some of the team members were at 0%, some at 70%, it just varied.
Yeah, again, some concern here on workload for me. Just again, I think some of the overlap early in 24. Some of the key personnel look like they may be a little tied up and starts to get a little better in 25, but it looks like it continues pretty deep into 25. I had a 12 on this one.
So on the fourth category, I have them at a 13. I did see that some, again, I more focus on their field staff. So I thought they had in 2025, especially during the period, I think our projects would be ramping up. They would have availability, so I didn't.
I gave him a 13. I agree with the comments Rob was saying. But Smith showed the consultant's project team has adequate staffing available to complete the services. On schedule, submittal indicates backup staffing capability when they have been unforeseen circumstances.
I believe we had 212s and 213s.
13.
13.
Yeah, it's
13.
13.
Chamber number 4.
You could go outside and fight it out. That's the other option.
all right. Moving on to Stan Tech. Category 1 for Stan Tech. Really, it's firm is professional. Stan Tech overall, in my comments, I think the staff that they put together or proposed were had good years of experience. A little bit of a small team. I think it's clearly relative to other proposals. You know, not as much staff personnel type size. The experience that they have, again, a little bit of municipality, but a little more DOT heavy, type larger type projects. So I had Stan at a 26 category 1.
26.
So on category 1, I thought that they had, above average, they had professional staff was more than adequate for us. On the field side, I thought they would more or less be self-consultant dependent. So although those guys didn't have the experience, so I thought that was important. So I gave them a 28.
I gave him a 26. Project team personnel have exceptional level of experience, several more than qualified. Project team contains all necessary disciplines.
I also given them a 26. I thought the project team were exceptional experience and some uniquely qualified. I thought their team contained all the necessary disciplines. They had superior organization of team and resources available. They had a superior understanding of the project and what's required to complete it, and unique project manager qualifications.
What was the
I think we had 326 and 120.
28. I can go at 26.
it's my six.
26. 26 is the consensus.
Agreed.
Category 2, projects similar size and type. I think there was a fairly good mix here of larger DOT, some municipal stuff. They do have the Nellis County miscellaneous contract. Which looks to be fairly similar to ours. Not huge, not a lot in terms of some of the bigger district stuff doesn't really fit in our wheelhouse. So it's like a lot of what they presented on the projects, but so I had them at 25 on this one.
So I thought that they, on this category 2, was that they did show experience in areas that similar to our projects. Yeah, and again, there was a good mix in that work. So resurfacing land, culvert, personnel reconstruction, a lot of the categories that we tend. So I think they have that experience. So I gave them 26.
Give him a 19. Thought the project firm had more than adequate, successful recent experience for projects of similar size and type, and the project's firm approach and methods proposed. are above average and provide level of service required for the project.
So give them 27, but I do agree with what you were saying. I thought they had superior prime firm experience with projects of similar size and type, but I do recognize that some of them are larger projects than what we might have, and a lot of those require a lot of turnover and small timeframes. They had superior prime firm approach and methods to provide service required, and then more than adequate representative projects related to the RPS scope.
What was the score?
In 19, 25, 26, and 27.
So it'll come up.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I agree with most of what you guys.
Yeah, I think yours is just a relative thing.
Yeah.
You just relatively scored yours lower than ours than we
Yeah.
did, so. So 25, 26, 27.
27.
26, 26.
26, all right, 6.
26?
Yeah.
For number 2?
So category 3, willingness, ability to meet schedule and budget. I thought they did a good job on this one. In some areas, they kind of broke down during pre-construction, during construction. The budget piece wasn't really, the cost savings piece was a little hard to pick out of this. It was more kind of their approach to how they would approach to this, on how they would do it. So I have it as 17.
So, I, in category 3, yes, I got there. They had a good approach, especially in managing the field side of it with contractor and they were heavily focused in that area, which is good. But on the other end, as far as the communication and the lines of communication, I thought maybe need a little bit more between the PM, and those guys. So I scored them at a 16.
I gave a 19, and I thought this middle showed superior understanding of approach to the scope, the schedule, budget, potential performance, project delivery. 19.
19. I've given them a 16. I thought they had a good schedule approach and a good understanding of budget control. They did have some generalities. I just didn't see specifics.
2 16s, 19, 17.
17.
And 17 for number 3 on stand text.
Last category, number 4, overall availability, I think was similar in some cases. Had some challenges in 24, but seemed to get a little better as it moved on. Still some couple of key members, 2 or 3 of them were considerably tied up. It looked like deep into 25 also. So I had them at 12 on this one.
Actually, I have them at a 13. So I agree with that, but I scored them 13.
I scored them at 11. I can see a ballpark there. Up the middle of fairly expensive project, being that adequate time, available staff. Great services also. I did notice there was some few staff that had some issues.
I scored a 12. I thought they had adequate staff, but some of their limited availability for some of those project managers would provide backup.
12, 13, something like about 12.
12.
Well,
So, what's next? WSP?
Yep.
So, this category, ability of the firm and its professional personnel. So I thought that their professional guide team was adequate. I think in comparison to the other ones, I would like to have a few more years. I thought that their staff was, they had a good amount of experience. So I didn't see any issue there, but I actually scored them 26.
Thought they were, I gave them a 20. Thought they were project team person with adequate level of experience. The client firm has adequate understanding of the proposed project. And what will be required to complete the project. Organization of the project teams adequate for the project.
I given them an 18. I thought they had above average experience with a PM uniquely qualified with the DOT experience. I did not think they had all the necessary disciplines listed that I could find in there. I thought they had adequate organization of the team with resources available. They lacked understanding somewhat of the project scope and what was required to complete it. There was limited information found for the map. The project qualification was above average though. CEI experience and FDOT experience.
Yeah, very similar comments. But I thought the experience was adequate. I had them at a 22.
26.
We did 26, 18, 20, and 22. Is that right?
Makes it 20 to
Let's go with 22.
I can go over to 22.
22. Okay. Yeah.
So the next category is category 2 with the firm's experience with projects similar type and size. So, again, the staff has experience. Sure, they're would be successful. But based on the category of similar projects, I didn't find too many projects that were similar to our types. Proposal, so I scored them a 27. I'm sorry, 23.
I scored them, I gave them a 16. I find the firm's approach, the methods proposed are above average to provide the level of service required for the project. Most of the scope services provided representative projects for similar to the RPS.
I given them an 18. I thought they were more than adequate firm experience with projects of similar size and type. I thought they had above average approach and methods to provide service provided for the experience they provided, and then more than adequate representative projects related to the RPS scope.
Sure.
18.
18. Yeah, I thought the representative projects were an adequate mix of some FDOT type work and did have some municipality work in there. Again, like some of the comments that were made, I'm not sure hit exactly the types of projects that we would be doing under this contract. I had that at a 23.
We have 2 23s. 6, 7, 8.
I would have some.
I don't have a problem.
21.
29's good.
Yeah.
So we start In the third category, firms' willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements. You know, I thought they had a similar approach to, you know, all of the other investors. So, I think they had a good approach to managing the budget and, adjusting staff and it's needed. So I actually gave them a 17.
The more conservative, give them 13, this middle showed adequate schedule approach, understanding the budget controls. Modified to project.
I've given them a 13-2. The schedule approach and budget control was adequate. They had described some of the scenarios, but not being very specific.
Yeah, I had similar comments. I thought it was adequate. Not a lot of specifics relative to the other proposals. So I had been at 15 on it.
I had a 17.
213.
13, so 15. Right.
I had 15.
15.
15.
So 15 as a consensus or number 4? Number
Number 3.
number 3.
All right, so number 4, affect the firm's recent, current, and projected workloads. So, it's similar to the previous guys. I've scored them at 13.
Gave them a little, more on the conservative side. I gave them a 7. I think the middle shows that consulting has adequate time available. Personnel, prior workload commitments may impact the services on schedule.
Gave them a 10. I thought their staffing was adequate, but their prior workloads may impact it. Some of the team members were listed at 100% availability, but the resumes indicated that some of their projects were going into 2025.
Yeah, similar comments. It's a relatively small team to start with. And then it's a couple of them had availability issues here. Well, it's interesting that they talk about support delivery to the village. So it's like, copy and pasted that one. Yeah, I think overall, I have a 10 on this one.
I had a 13.
At the low one, 7.
7.
I come on.
Yeah.
10.
And agreed.
For the evaluation portion. Okay, we're gonna get ready for the scoring portion. You're gonna hear some silence because I'm doing some calculations. Okay, I'm gonna go back over the scores for each category or each criteria for each firm. Um, Once I announce the subtotal, I need the evaluation committee to just say agreed. And then I'm gonna continue on with the points for economic development and the procurement scores for past performance and volume of work. So starting with ACOM Technical Services, evaluation criteria number 1, there was a consensus of 33. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agree,
Okay, for criteria 2, 29.
Agreed.
agree,
Criteria 3, 18.
Agreed.
agree,
Criteria 4, 13.
agree,
Okay, so that's a total of 93 points. For economic development MBE points, ACOM received 5 out of 6 points. For past performance, they got 3 out of 5 points. And for volume of work, they got 0 out of 5 points, which puts them at a total of 8 points for the procurement services portion and a total amount of 101 points. So 101 points for ACOM, Technical Services, Inc.
what was the total number again?
101, yes, they got 5 for MBE participation, 3 for past performance, and 0 for volume of work. For Atkins Realist, USA Inc., for evaluation criteria number 1, they received 26 points. Agreed.
Agree,
Criteria 2, 23 points.
agree,
Criteria 3, 17 points.
agree,
Criteria 4, 13 points.
agree,
Okay, that's a total of 79 points. For MBE score, they received 5 out of 6 points. For past performance, they received 5 out of 5 points. And for volume of work, they received 0 out of 5 points. So that portion, they received 10 more points, which puts them at 89. So 89 points for Atkins Realist, USA Inc. The next firm is DRNP Inc. for criteria 1. They received 31 points. Agreed.
agree,
Criteria 2, 25 points.
agree,
Criteria 3, 17 points.
agree,
Criteria 4, 13 points.
agree,
Okay, for a total of 86 points. For MBE, they received 5 out of 6 points. Past performance, they received 3 out of 5 points. For volume of work, they received 0 out of 5 points. So that portion, they received 8 additional points, which puts them at a 94. So 94 for DRNP.
What was their subtotal here?
Their subtotal was 86. Okay, moving on to Johnson, Merriman, and Thompson, Inc. for evaluation criteria number 1. I got a 25.
agree,
Criteria 2, I got 24.
agree,
Criteria 3, I got an 18.
agree,
Criteria 4, I got a 13.
agree,
Okay, that's a total of 80 points, subtotal. MBE, they got 5 out of 6 points. Past performance, 2 out of 5 points. Volume of work, 0 out of 5 points. So that section, they received a total of 7 points, which puts them at 87 points. 87 points for Johnson, Merriman, and Thompson, Inc. Next firm is KCI Technologies, Inc. For criteria number 1, they received 33 points.
agree,
Criteria 2, 28 points.
Agreed.
Criteria 3, 18 points.
Agreed.
Criteria 4, 14 points.
Agreed.
Okay, for a total of 93 points. For MBE, they received 5 out of 6 points. Past performance, they received 3 out of 5 points. Volume of work, 0 out of 5 points. So that category, they got, for that section, they got 8 points in addition, which puts them at 101 points. It's 101 points for KCI Technologies, Inc. Okay, the next firm is Kissinger, Campo and Associates for criteria 1, census of 33 points.
Agreed.
Okay, number 2, 27 points.
Agreed.
Number 3, 17 points.
Agreed.
Number 4, 13 points.
Agreed.
And it's a total of 90 points. For MBE, they received 5 out of 6 points. For past performance, 3 out of 5 points. Volume of work, 0 out of 5 points. That section, they received 8 additional points, which puts them at 98 points. So 98 points for Kissinger, Campo and Associates work. The next firm is Osmatic, Inc. Criteria 1, 22 points. Criteria 2, 22 points.
Agreed.
Criteria 3, 14 points.
Agreed.
Criteria 4, 13 points.
Agreed.
Okay, that puts them at 71 points. For MBE, they received 6 out of 6 points. Past performance, 3 out of 5 points. Volume of work, 3 out of 5 points. That section, they received an additional 12 points, which puts them at 83 points. 83 points for Osmatic. Next firm is Rummel, Klepper and Hall. Evaluation criteria number 1, they received 29 points as a consensus.
Agreed.
Okay, criteria 2, 28 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Criteria 3, 18 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Number 4, 13 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Okay, that's a total of 88 points. For MBE, they received 5 out of 6. Past performance, 4 out of 5. Volume of work, 3 out of 5, which puts them at 12 points in that category. For an overall total of 100 points. So 100 points for Rummel, Klepper, and Hall. The next firm is Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. Criteria 1, 26 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Number 2, 26 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Number 3, 17 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Number 4, 12 as a consensus,
Agreed.
for a total of 81 points. For MBE, 5 out of 6 points. Past performance, 3 out of 5 points. Volume of work, 5 out of 5 points. They received 13 points in that category, which puts them at a 94. 94 for Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. The last firm is WSB LLC. For criteria 1, 22 points as a consensus.
Agreed.
Criteria 2, 21 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Okay, criteria 3, 15 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Criteria 4, 10 as a consensus.
Agreed.
Okay, that's a total of 68 points. For MBE, they got 0 out of 6. Past performance, 3 out of 5. Volume of work, 3 out of 5. And they've received 6 points in that section, which puts them at a 74. All right, Jim, how many firms do you plan to shortlist?
I believe the solicitation said 6.
Okay, six firms will be shortlisted. And after the shortlist, how do you want to determine who will get the 3 contracts? What is the plan for
Yeah, I
that?
think what we'd like to do is do the reference background checks for the shortlist, and then we'll get back together following that and do a final
5, okay.
scoring on that.
Okay, if everyone can submit some type of notes to Jim so he can do the memo, so he can turn it to me, that'll be great. And we're gonna go ahead and conclude the meeting today for RPS 24-24835. Thank you everyone for participating and have a wonderful day. Thank you.